Charlie Kirk is no Dr. King, setting the record straight. Two men, two very different voices. Both spoke loudly about America, but in completely different ways. One sought justice and unity, the other spoke through division and controversy. One gave us a dream, the other gave us words that often fueled anger. And tragically, both men are no longer with us, both losing their lives to violence, a tragic reminder of how dangerous the world can be for public voices, no matter what they stand for. Welcome to Burden of History, where truth isn't just told, it's restored. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, thank you. And if you're not subscribed yet, please consider hitting that button. Let me be clear. Kirk's death was a tragedy. Violence against any speaker is wrong. But this video isn't about how he died. It's about the words he lived by and why comparing him to Dr. Martin Luther King matters for history. Why compare Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. with Charlie Kirk? Since Kirk's death, TikToks and posts are calling him the modern-day MLK, treating it like historical fact. But history demands accuracy, not convenient comparisons. Dr. King fought for civil rights through nonviolent resistance. Kirk built a conservative media empire. To call them equivalent isn't just wrong, it rewrites history. Let's examine their actual words. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal." Charlie Kirk, speaking at a 2019 Turning Point USA event, declared, "Multiculturalism is a cancer. America is not great because of diversity. It's great because of our values and Western civilization." Dr. King called America to live up to its highest ideals, to expand the promise of equality to all people. Kirk often framed diversity as a threat to American greatness, using fear of cultural change rather than faith in equality. Dr. King reminded us, we must learn to live together as brothers or perish together as fools. Kirk, speaking about diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives in 2022, said, "That's just code for tearing America apart. They want to divide us by race and gender, not bring us together." For Dr. Martin Luther King, unity was the only path forward, a moral imperative. For Kirk, efforts toward inclusion were often framed as divisive plots rather than steps toward justice. As Dr. King wrote from a Birmingham jail, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere." Kirk, on his podcast in 2020, told his audience, "White privilege is a myth created by the left to make white kids feel guilty for being born." Dr. King called on Americans to face injustice directly, to see systemic problems as threats to all of us. Kirk often dismissed discussions of privilege altogether, choosing denial over examination of historical inequities. And perhaps one of Dr. King's most hopeful statements, "The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice." Kirk, at multiple rallies during 2024, warned, "If we don't fight back against the left right now, America as we know it is finished." Dr. King spoke in the language of hope. Progress may be slow, but justice was inevitable if we worked for it. Kirk often spoke in the language of existential crisis, that America was always on the verge of collapse, requiring constant battle to survive. Now, to be fair, Charlie Kirk was a product of his time, the social media age, where controversy drives engagement and polarization pays. He built a massive following among young conservatives and believed passionately in his vision of America. But passion doesn't make someone the heir to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy. Dr. Martin Luther King led a movement that expanded voting rights, broke down legal segregation, and fundamentally changed American society through nonviolent resistance. He paid the ultimate price for a dream of racial equality and human dignity. Kirk built a media empire and political organization, mobilizing young conservatives around a very different vision, one that often portrayed demographic change and progressive movements as existential threats to America. We cannot control how we leave this world, but we can control what we say while we're here and how we remember those who came before us. Words are powerful. They can build nations or break them down. Dr. King's words built hope and expanded the American dream. Charlie Kirk's words, however you judge them, built something very different. The attempt to rebrand Kirk as the modern MLK isn't just historically inaccurate, it's dangerous to our understanding of both men. Dr. King fought to include more Americans in the promise of equality. We can disagree about Kirk's methods and message, but let's not pretend they were the same thing. History isn't about picking sides. It's about getting the facts right. And the facts show these were two very different men with very different messages, living in very different times. To conflate them dishonors both their memories and distorts the historical record. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., born January 15, 1929, in Atlanta. A pastor, a father, a man who believed deeply in nonviolent change. He was assassinated on April 4, 1968, in Memphis, fighting for sanitation workers' rights. His legacy, expanding American democracy through moral courage. Charlie Kirk, born October 14, 1993, in Arlington Heights, Illinois. He left college to build Turning Point USA at age 18, creating a conservative youth movement that would reach millions. He was assassinated on September 10, 2025, in Utah, speaking to students. His legacy, mobilizing young conservatives through grassroots activism and social media. Two different men, two different eras, two different approaches to American politics, both human beings with families who loved them, both voices silenced by violence, but their words and the movements they built tell very different stories. And that's what history must remember, the truth behind the comparisons. Thank you for walking this journey with me. Please check the description for all sources and citations. When social media rewrites history, channels like this become essential. Share this video, subscribe, and help us carry the burden of keeping history accurate. Together through Burden of History.